Since the dawn of time, human beings have sought to understand the meaning of love, the mystery of deep connections, and the reasons behind the relationships that shape our lives. Why do some people seem destined to meet? Why do certain bonds transform us, leaving an indelible mark, while others pass through our lives like fleeting shadows? Carl Jung, the great master of analytical psychology, offered profound insight into the nature of these connections, distinguishing those that arise from the soul from those born merely out of surface-level attraction. In a world where relationships often feel volatile and transient, where love is frequently confused with obsession and attraction mistaken for true connection, it becomes essential to learn how to distinguish the genuine from the illusory. Jung taught us that every meaningful encounter in our lives carries a purpose, that the people who come into our lives do so not by accident, but as mirrors reflecting parts of our own unconscious mind. In the vast universe of the psyche, nothing happens by chance. Every person we meet, every intense emotion we experience within a relationship is a message from our inner world, an unveiling of something deeper within ourselves. The human being, by nature, seeks wholeness. From the moment we are born, we long for connection, recognition, and love. Yet this desire often leads us to chase illusions, to confuse intensity with depth, desire with purpose. Jung invites us to look beyond the surface, to recognize that what we are truly seeking in others is often a reflection of what lies within us. That overwhelming pull we feel towards someone can, in many cases, be the echo of something we've repressed or denied within our own psyche. Many times we believe we've found someone special simply because we feel an immediate connection, a spark that electrifies us, a magnetism we can't explain. But is this truly a sign of a soul connection? Or is it the unresolved longing of our inner world calling out? Jung warned us about the tricks of the unconscious, the projections we cast onto others. Every time we feel irresistibly drawn to someone, we are not merely seeing the real person before us, but are also projecting onto them our own unmet needs, desires, and hidden shadows. This phenomenon is far more common than we realize. We often fall in love with people who embody the parts of ourselves we have repressed. If we are highly rational and controlled, we may find ourselves attracted to someone spontaneous and free. If we have buried our vulnerability, we might feel an intense pull towards someone who displays it fearlessly. But this is where a critical distinction must be made. A soul connection is not born out of lack or need. It is born from mutual recognition. It is not about filling voids, but about sharing fullness. For Jung, true love is neither possession nor dependency. It is not a game of deficiencies where one person seeks in another what they feel they lack. A soul connection does not stem from the fear of being alone, nor from the desire to be validated by another. Instead, it is a meeting between two beings who have learned to see each other without illusions, without masks, and without the distortions of unconscious projection. The path to recognizing an authentic connection begins within. We cannot differentiate real love from fleeting attraction if we haven't explored our own inner darkness. Jung emphasized the necessity of integrating the unconscious aspects of our psyche, of facing what we have buried, acknowledging our wounds, and bringing to light what lies in the shadow. Only after this inner work can we see others clearly, without the filters of unfulfilled needs clouding our vision. A true soul connection does not aim to complete the other person, but to walk beside them in their journey of self-discovery. It is not a relationship founded on idealization or emotional dependence, but one built on the profound understanding that each individual is a universe unto themselves. It is a connection where both people can grow and evolve together, without fear, without manipulation, and without the unconscious desire to dominate or be dominated. By contrast, mere attraction is often fleeting, intense, but shallow. It feeds off immediate desire and the longing to possess or be possessed, but rarely transcends the boundaries of the physical or emotional. In such relationships, the absence of true self-awareness leads individuals to become entangled in dynamics of attachment and frustration. Attraction alone is not enough to sustain a meaningful relationship. It may ignite a fire, but it lacks the depth and stability needed to nurture something lasting. Jung teaches us that true love is born the moment we dare to look beyond desire, when we see the other person not just with our physical eyes, but through the eyes of the soul. It's in these rare moments when we encounter someone who resonates deeply with our innermost being that we experience a sense of recognition so clear, so undeniable, that it transcends explanation. This is not the high of unrestrained passion, nor the anxiety that comes from craving acceptance. Rather, it is a state of calm, mutual understanding, a serene trust rooted not in fear, but in choice. In this space, love doesn't cling or grasp. It flows freely because both individuals know they will be fine, regardless of the path their relationship takes. A love grounded in awareness is fundamentally different from a love rooted in need. Most people seek love as a way to soothe their loneliness, to fill an inner emptiness, or to avoid facing themselves. But a genuine connection cannot grow from a place of lack. It only arises from inner wholeness. True love is the union of two souls who have already learned to feel complete on their own, and therefore they are able to walk alongside one another without the fear of losing themselves in the process. This kind of relationship requires maturity. It demands that we see reality as it truly is, not through the lens of fantasy or projection. It requires courage, because we must be willing to face our own shadows rather than projecting them onto someone else. And most of all, it requires authenticity. Only when we show ourselves as we truly are, without masks or performances, can we attract those who are truly meant to walk this path with us. So the question becomes, are you seeking love out of need or from a place of inner abundance? Are you allowing yourself to be swept away by attraction without pausing to ask what lies beneath it? Jung invites us to look inward before offering ourselves to someone else. He reminds us that every relationship we experience is a reflection of our own psyche, and that only by doing the inner work can we cultivate authentic connections. Real connections do not leave us confused. They do not make us question our worth. They do not push us to erase our identity in order to fit into someone else's world. When two souls connect, there is freedom, trust, and mutual growth. There is no manipulation, no power struggle, no need to reshape the other to meet our expectations. The great trap of attraction is that it makes us feel alive, sparks hope, seduces us with the illusion of eternal love. But when it lacks a true, soul-level connection, it inevitably falls apart over time. Many people spend their lives jumping from one relationship to another, endlessly searching, but never truly finding, because they haven't yet understood that real love begins with self-awareness. If we want to distinguish a soul connection from a fleeting attraction, we must be willing to look beyond the surface, we must ask ourselves what we are truly searching for. We must become familiar with our own shadows and recognize that love is not meant to heal our inner voids, but to express our inner fullness. When we do meet someone with whom we share this kind of profound connection, we simply know. There is no need to chase, to convince, to force anything. It is a quiet recognition, an inner certainty. And if you haven't yet found this type of connection, remember, everything begins within. The more you know yourself, the more you embrace both your light and your shadow, the more you'll be able to recognize and attract true love. Jung's message is clear. Do not search outside for what you must first discover within, because when you truly know and accept yourself in your entirety, the universe will align you with those who vibrate at your same frequency. And it is in that sacred intersection, in that quiet meeting point, that souls recognize each other. A soul connection is far more than intense attraction or surface compatibility. It is a deep recognition, an echo of something that seems to have existed long before this moment, as if two souls, after wandering on long separate journeys in search of themselves, had finally found their way back to each other. Jung spoke of synchronicity, a phenomenon in which events mysteriously align to deliver a message or awaken a realization. It's as if life itself weaves an invisible thread, bringing people together with precise timing, not by chance, but as part of a larger orchestration. When a soul connection takes place, reality bends to ensure the two paths converge at the perfect moment. This meeting is not accidental. It's a form of sacred geometry unfolding in real time, guiding us toward transformation. When someone enters your life and ignites a profound change within you, it feels as though they were the missing piece of an internal puzzle you didn't even realize you were assembling. They don't come to complete you. This isn't about dependency or filling a void, but they reflect back to you the forgotten or repressed fragments of your own self. Their presence helps you remember not just who you are, but who you were always meant to be. These soul connections don't arise from a need to possess, nor do they stem from the fear of being alone. Instead, they emerge from a frequency that vibrates deep within your being. The resonance is unmistakable. It isn't about external attraction or fulfilling a list of requirements. It's a sense of recognition at the level of the soul. In such relationships, there's no pressure to impress. There are no games, no strategies of seduction. It feels natural, effortless, as if it had always been written. Words become secondary because the connection transcends language. It's not about what the other can give you or what you can provide in return. It's about walking a shared path, growing, evolving, supporting each other in the journey of expanding consciousness. Unlike mere attraction, where physical desire or emotional validation often rule the dynamic, a soul connection is marked by authenticity. There's nothing to prove, no roles to perform, no parts of yourself to hide. Vulnerability is not only welcomed, it's essential, because true love doesn't demand perfection. It embraces the entirety of who you are. The shadow, a central concept in Jungian psychology, plays a crucial role in our relationships. Often, we are drawn to people who mirror the very aspects of ourselves we've repressed or denied. These are not soul connections, but rather psychological mirrors, reflections of our own unhealed wounds. That's why some relationships are charged with intensity, emotional turmoil, and endless cycles of conflict. They aren't destined unions, they are opportunities. These relationships reveal our inner struggles, our unmet needs, our traumas still waiting to be seen. In these encounters, attraction can feel overpowering, but that doesn't mean they're healthy. These are the bonds where emotional dependency and attachment take over, where love is confused with control and passion is laced with fear. The fear of losing the other becomes a source of pain, creating toxic patterns of dominance and submission. These are the connections that drain, rather than nourish. They leave you feeling depleted, not renewed. As Jung taught, these relationships are not random misfortunes. They are catalysts, designed to push us toward healing, to force us to face the shadow within. True love, by contrast, expands. It does not confine, limit, or suppress. A soul connection inspires you to become more of yourself, more whole, more free. It invites you to explore dimensions of your being that you may have never accessed alone. There's no urge to possess, no impulse to control. Because real love is not born from fear, it arises from joy. It is a celebration of sharing, not a contract of need. In this kind of connection, both souls shine with their own light. One does not eclipse the other. There's harmony without uniformity. When you're in a soul connection, it feels like home, not because the other person is responsible for your happiness, but because together you create a space where both can be wholly, authentically themselves. There's no anxiety about the future, no clinging to outcomes. The bond doesn't rely on external circumstances, but on an inner resonance that transcends time and space. Jung believed every relationship we experience reflects our inner state. If we continue to attract pain, if we are repeatedly drawn to people who hurt us or make us feel inadequate, it's not because of fate or misfortune. It's because something inside of us is still asking to be healed. To draw in a soul connection, we must first do the internal work. We must walk into the depths of our own being. We must face the parts of ourselves we've hidden, heal the wounds we've long ignored, and integrate the pieces we've pushed away. Only when we come into peace with ourselves can we truly recognize another soul who has done the same, and who is ready to share a love that comes from wholeness, not from lack. Carl Jung taught us a profound truth. Life is a mirror of our inner world. Everything we experience externally, our relationships, our struggles, our joys, is simply a reflection of the emotional, mental, and spiritual state within us. If we truly want to transform the way we relate to others, we must begin by transforming the relationship we have with ourselves. That love we so desperately seek outside can only manifest once we've learned to nurture it internally. And when we finally do, when we truly embody that self-love, the connections we make with others arrive effortlessly. There's no need for struggle, no pain, no chasing. These connections come naturally, like rivers finding the ocean. This is because real love cannot be chased. It doesn't emerge from desperation, and it's not something to be hunted. True love is discovered when we've reached a point of readiness to receive it. It appears in our lives not when we're begging for it, but when we're aligned with it internally. Human relationships and the concept of love are deeply rooted in the innermost layers of our psyche. Jung unveiled that what we see in our external world, especially in our relationships, is nothing more than a reflection of the unresolved aspects of our inner self. And this principle is perhaps most visible in our emotional connections. If we repeatedly find ourselves in relationships marked by pain, anxiety, or codependency, it's not because we are cursed by fate or destined to suffer. Rather, it's because we are unknowingly projecting and recreating the unresolved patterns of our unconscious. We're manifesting what we haven't healed. Until we bring those hidden wounds to light, we will continue to attract circumstances that mirror them. But when a soul connection happens, when two people meet who have done the inner work, the experience is entirely different. The energy of the relationship shifts. There's no overwhelming need, no fear of abandonment, no anxious desire to control. Instead, there's a powerful sense of expansion. Both individuals understand that the bond between them is not rooted in attachment or dependency. It flows from a deep resonance that transcends time, space, and even understanding. In such a connection, there's no fear of distance, no panic at the prospect of change. Because what ties these two souls together isn't obligation or fear, but a shared recognition of something much greater, a truth that lives beyond the physical realm. On the other hand, relationships built on superficial attraction tend to be defined by urgency, by need, by an overpowering desire to possess the other. These are connections driven by fear, fear of loss, fear of loneliness, fear of not being enough. And from this fear comes a toxic cycle of emotional highs and lows. Passionate moments are followed by conflict. The craving for closeness is laced with the terror of abandonment. It's a kind of love that drains rather than nourishes, that leaves you feeling empty rather than fulfilled. It becomes an emotional roller coaster, exhausting and consuming. One of the clearest signs that you've found a true soul connection is this. There is no need to change the other person, nor do you feel compelled to change yourself just to be accepted. The relationship is built on a foundation of authenticity, on unconditional acceptance, and on a profound respect for each other's individuality. There is no ongoing struggle to be validated because the relationship isn't built upon insecurity. It is founded on a deep understanding that each person is already whole on their own. Jung spoke of the process of individuation as the cornerstone of human development. Individuation is the journey of self-discovery, the integration of all the fragmented parts of our psyche. It is the process of becoming fully conscious, of embracing both light and shadow, and embodying our truest, most complete self. And when two individuals who have walked this path come together, their relationship is unlike anything conventional. They do not seek in the other what they feel they lack. They do not try to fill an inner void with someone else's presence. Instead, they come together in a natural, balanced way, complementing each other without dependency. In contrast, relationships born solely from attraction often become a form of escape. Many people enter into them without having done the inner work, hoping that the love of someone else will provide them with the stability, happiness, or validation they haven't found within themselves. But depending on another person to feel whole leads to a bond built on fear, on need, on illusion. It's not real love. It's a way of avoiding the work we must do within ourselves. When a true soul connection occurs, there's an overwhelming sense of freedom. There are no expectations to change. There's no fear of being left. There's no pressure to perform or to make it work. Everything flows with ease, with harmony, with a silent understanding that doesn't need words. In this kind of relationship, both people are free to continue growing individually without that growth threatening the bond. They are not together because they need to be. They are together because they choose to be. And that perhaps is the purest form of love there is. Carl Jung taught us a profound truth, one that often challenges us to look within rather than blame the world outside. He revealed that our relationships are not random or accidental. They are mirrors reflecting the parts of ourselves we still need to understand, heal, or transform. If we continually find ourselves drawn to people who hurt us, who fail to value us, or who make us feel unworthy, it's not because we're cursed or unlucky. It's because there is something inside us, something unresolved or fragmented, that is still calling out for attention and healing. These difficult relationships are not punishments. They are invitations, opportunities to awaken. They reveal what we still need to work on within ourselves. We attract not what we want, but what we believe we deserve. We attract what resonates with our current level of consciousness, our inner emotional frequency. And so, if we wish to experience different relationships, more fulfilling and authentic ones, we must first shift the relationship we have with ourselves. This is why the search for a soul connection, a deep and meaningful bond, should never begin by looking for someone else. It must begin with a journey inward. The more we come to understand ourselves, the more we dedicate time and care to healing our old wounds, to integrating the darker parts of us we'd rather ignore, and to embracing our true essence. The easier it becomes to attract a relationship that reflects that same level of depth and awareness. It's not about finding someone to complete us, or someone who will finally make us happy. That's a misunderstanding of love. True happiness starts from within. We must learn to be at peace with who we are, to enjoy our own company, to nourish our inner world, so that when we do share our life with someone, we're not asking them to fill a void. We're inviting them into a space already full of life. So many people spend their lives chasing the idea of love, never realizing that what they're really chasing is a remedy to their own internal emptiness. And when a relationship fails to instantly deliver happiness or validation, they move on to the next person and then the next, repeating the same patterns, caught in an endless loop. But true fulfillment doesn't come from constantly seeking something outside ourselves. It comes from the courage to turn inward and face what's there. Love that is grounded in self-awareness and consciousness is entirely different from love that is born out of need. There is no desperation in it. There is no clinging. There is no suffering rooted in fear or insecurity. Instead, there is peace. There is clarity. There is a steady connection that doesn't waver with external challenges because it is founded on something deeper than temporary emotions or passing attraction. Jung showed us that authentic relationships are the ones that help us grow. They're not relationships that drain us or wear us down. They're ones that elevate us, inspire us, and transform us. These connections are rooted in genuine support. There is a shared desire for mutual growth, a shared willingness to evolve, not just as individuals, but together. There is no fear in facing truth, no need to pretend or wear masks. They're not perfect, because no relationship is, but they are real. And in that realness, there is immense beauty. In these relationships, both people meet at a point of awareness and growth. They don't demand perfection from each other. Instead, they co-create something meaningful, something grounded in mutual understanding and conscious love. If we want to attract this kind of connection, we must ask ourselves, am I truly ready for a conscious relationship? Have I done the inner work necessary to attract someone who also seeks love rooted in truth and authenticity? Because the love we experience with another person will always reflect the state of our inner world. If we want to change our external relationships, we have to start with the one we have within. Real love is not a fantasy. It's not an illusion reserved for a lucky few. It exists, but it only becomes available to us when we're ready, truly ready, to receive it. And readiness doesn't come from longing or impatience. It comes from self-love, from recognizing our own worth, from healing the parts of ourselves that have been wounded or forgotten. Only when we learn to love ourselves unconditionally can we open the door to a relationship that transcends surface-level attraction and reaches into the depths of the soul. When we understand the difference between a soul connection and a fleeting attraction, we stop chasing love in the wrong places. We stop trying to fill emotional voids with the presence of someone else. Instead, we begin to value authenticity, stability, and genuine connection. We see that real love is not about finding someone who completes us. It's about sharing our fullness with someone who has also walked their own path toward healing and wholeness. True love is not a power struggle. It's not a battle between desire and fear. It's not a chaotic ride that leaves us emotionally exhausted. It is a safe space. It is mutual growth. It is freedom and respect. It's a love that doesn't demand, that doesn't pressure, that doesn't manipulate. It simply exists, calmly and powerfully. And when we encounter this kind of love, there are no doubts, no anxiety, no lingering sense of lack. Everything flows. Everything feels aligned. Because it is a connection born, not from the ego, but from the soul. Jung reminded us again and again. The relationships we draw into our lives are reflections of our inner state. If we keep finding ourselves entangled in relationships that cause us pain, it's a sign that there are still parts of us that are waiting to be seen, understood, and healed. But the moment we commit to doing the inner work, facing our shadows, embracing self-compassion, loving ourselves with patience and without condition, everything begins to shift. The relationships we attract begin to change. We stop magnetizing people who feed off our wounds and start aligning with those who respect our growth. If this message has resonated with you, if you feel that now is the time to transform the way you experience love and connection, then consider this an invitation. Join this journey. Here, we explore Jung's principles, the power of the unconscious mind, the path to individuation, and the process of personal growth. Share in the comments which part of this message touched your heart the most. Tell us about your experiences, your reflections, your desire for a more authentic connection. Your story might be the light that guides someone else through their own journey. Share this message with someone who might need to hear it. Someone you know who is trapped in surface-level relationships and deserves to experience love from a higher, deeper perspective. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video. Every like, every comment, every time you share helps us reach more people and grow a community where Jung's wisdom continues to transform lives. Remember, real love begins with you. If you want to attract a soul connection, you must first become the person who is ready to live it. It's not about searching outside for something you haven't yet found within. It's about discovering yourself, healing, and allowing true love to enter your life when you are finally ready to receive it. Thank you for being here, for listening, for reflecting. We'll see you in the next video. The change begins with you.